the operator Lion was released in year 3 season 1 with Operation Chimera, and Ubisoft have said in like videos that he is the biggest mistake with Rainbow Six Siege and the biggest mistake that they've ever had. He's the most overpowered operator of all time, and his operator and like his gameplay changed like the balance of Siege forever. Like, ever since Lion came out, the player base decreased significantly, and he is by far like the worst change in Rainbow Six Siege history. He's been nerfed so many times, and yeah. So in today's video, we're going to be going over the story of Lion and how he became so overpowered and how Ubisoft have changed him. So yeah, Lion is a French operator that was released in year 3 season 1, and he was an attacker. And he was so overpowered that at the Pro League Season 8 finals, it was announced that Lion had been placed into a competitive quarantine because he was so overpowered and was used. He had like a 90% pick rate, and it was just very boring to play. But yeah, he was released in Operator Chimera. He was a 2-speed, 2 armor, and he was from France, and he had the claymores and stun grenades. And his unique gadget was the EE1D. So this gadget was basically, it had 3 charges, it lasted 2 seconds, and the cooldown was 15 seconds. So the EE1D helped Lion maintain quarantine by detecting movement in an area, giving an overview of hot zones or of the battlefield. His drone could stay airborne indefinitely, but he must choose the right moment to perform his scans. So essentially what his ability was that he had a drone in the sky, and when he pressed his button, that it would give like a 2-second warning to defenders, and then if they moved and then after that 2-second warning, there'd be like a 2-second duration, and if they moved in that 2-second duration, it would give him wall hacks, and yeah, it was pretty crazy. This was sort of like one of the first like global abilities that was introduced into the game, along with like Dockerby and Finker, and it just meant that he took no skill because even bad players could play him. Like, you could get like a copper into a Pro League stack and just make him play Lion, and he would just have to press a button. The reason that he was so overpowered was that there was basically no counter. There was a soft counter in terms of mute, but his ability was so low risk and very like low effort with very high reward, which shouldn't exist. Like, global abilities in Siege are fundamentally broken. Like your gadget should take like skill to use. Like, for example, placing your zombie barriers. You don't just have to like place them. You don't just press the button and they place in the best positions. Like, you have to place them like manually and automatically. So even pro players such as like BenQ described him as a broken operator with like whose gadget either brings their own skill level up or just takes the opponent's skill level up, because especially paired with other operators like Blitz and Jackal. So for example, let's say you're a defender playing against Cigar and Cafe, you get Lion scanned. So if you move, you die. But let's say there's a Blitz and like Jackal rushing you, and you're being pinged and you're just being rushed. Like, you cannot do anything. You're just dead in that situation. So yeah. So it just took 0 skill. It was like low risk, like very high reward sort of operator.
Leaving only Brian alive. NVK testing his control key, and well, he's gonna get taken out there.
He's just cutting off this rotate. He's going to be scanning out one of the players that is the Vigil. Target acquired, and now Magnet knows exactly where he has to cut off. He's also getting Lion, also getting Ying, detected by the E1D. Neo cleans him up.
Raphael using the smoke and Candela combo is just going to push right in. They'll have some covering fire as the artillery of glass stands in bathroom. And look at that, Raphael, they will just bully them. Vitality sweeps into the site and will get the plant down. Both Panari and Uno will now need to retake, and Bibu on the Zofia cleaning up.
And this just meant like, it just took away like all the game sense and all the knowledge, because anybody could be good with Lion. Like, I remember Fabian, G2 Fabian, said like a quote saying like, all I have to do is press a button. Like, it took 0 skill, and that was just the story of Lion. But yeah, he was so overpowered that he even got like banned from Pro League for a bit, and he literally, there was a quarantine period introduced in Pro League, so any operator, you couldn't only play them for that season. You'd have to wait a season, and this was just crazy. This was literally due to Lion coming out. But yeah, so in like, he was changed a bit in year 3. Season 1 patch 3.12, so his outline will only appear the duration of player movement, and his scan charges were reduced from 3 to 2, and the cooldowns from scans were increased from 10 seconds to 20 seconds. But this didn't really do much, because fundamentally Lion was still broken, and his rework that was like everyone was talking about was only coming out in year 4 season 1, which was a year later than he'd been sort of introduced into the game. So Lion meta lasted for about a year, which was crazy to me, because like, now operators get like, if they're really overpowered, but we haven't had a really overpowered operator, they get nerfed pretty quickly. But this took a whole year for them to rebalance Lion, which basically killed the game. But yeah, so the E1D rework came in year 4 season 1. So the warning ability was reduced from 3 to 1.5 seconds, and the scan time was reduced from 4 to 2 seconds, and the scan outline, so instead of getting hacks, you basically just got pings instead, so similar to like Jackal pings, and the scan charges were increased from 2 to 3, but however, they also made Vigil immune to his scan, so they gave him like a soft counter. I'd argue that this this is still like a broken ability in terms of like being global, but they just reduced it. They basically fucked him. Lion turned into like shit. He's used a bit now, but they basically had to destroy him because of how overpowered he was. Like he literally fundamentally, like every ranked game was just Lion, Blitz, Dokkaebi. Like the meta literally destroyed Siege. It was just rushing in with Lion, Dokkaebi, Blitz, Jackal, Finker, and just like no care in the world. There was actually a whole season where you didn't need to bring a hard breach. Like Lion's presence fundamentally killed the game and just like reduced like the skill gap significantly from year 3. And the fact that it took Ubisoft a year to change him like was pretty drastic. But yeah. So in year 4 they sort of like drastically reduced like the skill of Lion. Overall, the addition of Lion to the game really changed the game dramatically, and I feel like Ubisoft like learned from this mistake, and ever since then I don't think they've added any seriously like overpowered operators. Like Edo was released before, I think Maestro was released before, or Maestro was released the next season, so that means they already had like built him up. So yeah, I feel like Ubisoft have like learned from their mistakes, and we've not seen an operator of that like caliber and skill. But yeah, Lion definitely drastically like changed the game and the whole ecosystem. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this. What are your memories of Lion? Do you think he was that overpowered? And what do you think a future nerf or change or rework should be? Thanks for watching, guys, and have a good day.